When Dr. Dre released Beats to the world, he made headphones cool again. This was not a mistake. Beats intentionally transformed a piece of technical equipment into a piece of fashion, which irrevocably shifted the entire industry. But by becoming fashionable, Beats fell behind on what really matters in a product. For years now, technological development has been focused largely on making everything smaller. We went from computers that took up entire rooms or buildings to ones that we can fit in our pockets. And the bulky, uncomfortable over-ear headphones of yesteryear almost totally vanished after Apple came out with their innovative EarPods in 2001. Those EarPods hailed an era that was all about tiny, cheap, and convenient sound. But the thing about those tiny EarPods things is that they kind of sucked for everything except what was convenient and arguably style. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You can shrink everything as much as you want, but you're going to sacrifice something. And in this case, Apple sacrificed quite a bit on the sound quality. Now, seeing the pendulum swing, a few entrepreneurs saw an opportunity to bring music-focused DJ-style headphones back to life. Legendary hip-hop producer Dr. Dre and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Jimmy Iovine used their fame and musical credibility to launch a product line in a way that we hadn't really seen in a while. And so in 2008, Beat headphones were born. Of course, decent headphones were already on the market. Music producers, audiophiles, and DJs were using them daily. But Dr. Dre and Iovine understood that at the time, most people who listened to music didn't give a shit about sound quality. So their big challenge was not to make better headphones, but to make headphones cool. They made a bet that if they could show people that headphones gave you a better listening experience and you could look cool while doing it, they'd be able to make a lot of money. And I mean, if you're watching this video, you clicked on it, so obviously it worked. To make Beats successful, they knew they had to make a sexy, new age, exciting product. They focused on things like aesthetics, brand identity, and of course, convenience. It was Beats that got us used to things like wireless connections, easy switching from music to phone calls, skipping and pausing songs, noise cancellation, and a foldable design for easier storage. Paired with a sleek, modern aesthetic and colorful options, it's easy to see why this appealed to upper middle class people, especially with a $350 price point. This was not just a nice looking accessory, but a luxury item that could set you apart from all those peasants with their $20 EarPods. They see how I do it. But here's the thing, they knew that flash and glam would only get them so far. So not only was the product created and named after one of the most iconic hip hop artists of all time, but there were celebrity endorsements like you can't even imagine. I could make a whole video detailing the high profile elites that have been filmed or photographed wearing these very conspicuous Beats, but out of respect for you and your day, I will limit to just the following. Lady Gaga, Ed Sheeran, LeBron James, Drake, Lil Wayne, Spike Lee, Kobe Bryant, the Obamas, Nicki Minaj, and many more. The list, of course, goes on to many sports stars, supermodels, musical genius, and whoever the hell they could get to wear them. They handed out a bunch of these things at the Olympics in 2012, flooding what was one of the most internationally viewed events with their iconic product. Needless to say, it didn't take long before Beats were just common knowledge, a product associated with money, swag, and perhaps even an appreciation of music. People were totally okay using their common EarPods before, but now they needed Beats. Dre effectively transformed a utilitarian piece of tech into the next big fashion item. Thanks to these guys, it became the norm to wear your headphones just to express your identity. You didn't even have to have the things on your ears. Just having them around your neck was enough to show what clan you were a part of. For a good while, Beats basked in the glory of their newly cultured fan base, with other brands desperately trying to play catch up, but ultimately not quite achieving the same iconic status. And then Apple solidified their fame in 2014 and bought them out for a whopping $3 billion.
Shut up and take my money.
But despite Beats' massive success in their early days, they created a bit of a problem for themselves. By making their product a fashion item, they basically ensured that they would forever be at the mercy of the whims of the fashion gods. See, a product like Bose will long be relevant because their popularity is based on something fairly stable. That is, quality. Bose will always have a loyal fan base of audiophiles who give no f***s about what high-profile cameos the headphones may or may not have made in the latest new music video. They know that Bose makes good earphones, and that's kind of it. Now, if you're looking for sound quality, over-the-ear headphones are always going to be better than the pod alternatives. But what almost for sure won't fully satisfy your needs are Beats. Ask any serious audiophile about Beats, and they might just kick you out of the room for even bringing up the name. For one, they were specifically designed for listening to hip hop and have earned years of complaints that they were overly heavy on the bass. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but the reality is Beats weren't meant for people with more diverse listening interests, which was realistically most people. But there's a lot of other questions to the legitimacy and quality of Beats in general. To illustrate this, a lot of tech channels will take apart a product to sort of estimate how much it's actually worth. And from these estimations, it's pretty well understood that Beats are vastly overpriced. We found one estimate that the actual value of a $300 pair of Beats is only about $20, which means they may be selling for literally 10 times what they cost to make.
450 bucks? They don't even look good.
Before you get all mad at Beats for totally ripping you off, you gotta sympathize with how insanely expensive it must be to convince every other celebrity to tout your wares. So that $280 of excess isn't just going to the corporate giants over at Apple, but to the celebrities that they paid to manipulate you.
You like music? The pill.
Now, some of you might be saying that since Apple bought them out, the tech has slowly been improving. And by recent accounts, Beats aren't actually pure trash anymore, but they still have a long history of first and foremost catering to image rather than sound. And that's unlikely to change anytime soon. It's sort of what the brand was built for, and they're never going to win out over reputable brands that spend less on endorsement than the actual product. That being said, on a fashion front, I don't really feel like anyone's wearing Beats anymore. Seems like it's kind of lost its fashion charm. Not that I know anything about fashion.
How do you do, fellow kids?
I'm a white guy in a friggin'... what is this called? A part of the fall of Beats headphones might actually be the success that they achieved. Because at this point, they're kind of mainstream. And a huge point of Beats in the early days was to give users a feeling of individuality. And the brand had this sort of rebel atmosphere about it, courtesy of Dr. Dre's own hip-hop persona. But now that everyone has had them, or has them, they're not all that special or rebellious.
And when everyone's super, no one will be.
Meanwhile, every other headphone brand has upped their style game, and they're still better to begin with. Ultimately though, we have to remind you, perhaps unnecessarily, that you shouldn't just buy tech because it is in. By all means, buy something that fits your style, buy something that works for what you need, but it can be from a brand that isn't as hype beast as Beats. We here at Futureproof are big fans of the Danish company AI. They make products both for professionals and lay people like myself, and they have this amazing system that allows you to replace individual parts of the headphones themselves so that you can be using them for basically the rest of your life. I've been using them for 3 years now, and they sound great. They're super easy to use, and if you get a wired pair, they're basically indestructible. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe. Unlike Beats, we don't have a huge, massive marketing budget to lure in viewers with our celebrity endorsements, so we rely on people like you to spread the word. So if you like what we're doing, thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next video. Water.